Welcome back to Anarchy in the Ukulele, and we're here today with something a little bit special. It's the aNueNue Lion Orange UT, which is tenor ukulele. And if you watched our Advent videos before Christmas, we did a video where we said what we wanted from Santa, and I wanted this very ukulele. Lo and behold, Christmas Day turns up. So I've been kind of holding on to this, ready to do a review for a long time. I keep promising it and then chickening out because it's a bit special, this ukulele. It's not cheap. I think at the time we bought it, it was $1,499. They're changing in price a little bit, so we'll pop the price on the screen here just to show you what it currently is. But obviously, they are fluctuating at the minute. This is a solid koa ukulele, but it's got a cedar top. So it's got a solid cedar top and then solid koa back and sides. And the koa is just absolutely beautiful. The patterns in it, I don't know if we're getting that all right on camera, Bongo Boy. The patterns in it, this kind of shimmer that it's got to it and the way the light shines off it, I absolutely love. It's two pieces on the back and then it's joined with this sort of maple binding, and the maple binding runs all the way around the sides as well. So you've got this kind of pattern of maple, like all the edges have the binding on it, which again I think looks really, really nice. There's a little bit of purfling on the other side of the binding, so you've got a little black, white, black line going around there, which looks like it's all within the maple. So really, really beautiful looking. The koa, this is the first koa ukulele that I've played. So again, hard to compare it against other things, so I can only go with how this one feels to play. The lion element comes around because there's a band in Taiwan. I think it's Taiwan or China, but I think it's Taiwan because this is where this is made also, called Lion. And this little logo in the centre here is their logo. And this was a signature ukulele made for them. I think they have a very similar looking signature guitar by aNueNue as well, which I haven't seen for sale in this country. Some people, I think that kind of worries them because they don't want a signature ukulele from a band or, an artist that they don't particularly know. Doesn't worry me at all. I just love the colour of it and the styling of it I really, really like. The logo I do have a few issues with, but I'll come back to that in a little bit. So the finish on this is this gloss finish, and it's got this sort of pearlescent orange, as they call it. Now, this might be tricky in the light here, and it's showing up a few fingerprints there. I don't know if we're going to get that to show through, but the orange finish, it's almost got like a little sparkle to it if you catch it in certain light. It's certainly, you can't see any wood grain through it, so it's not one of those finishes where you still get the wood grain showing through, but it's got this kind of sparkle, almost glittery effect, but it's really, really subtle. So it just makes the orange really vibrant. I really like that, but I think you have got to like orange to want or like this ukulele. So it's got that top coat on it. The bridge is a ebony tie bar style bridge. It is a bone nut and a bone saddle. Bone nut, bone saddle. Saddle's compensated. Spacing at the bridge is 45mm. Spacing at the nut is 37mm. And that's 28mm G to A. So a good size, really, one of the sort of the thicker nutted ukuleles. It's very comfortable to play. It's mahogany neck. It fits in really nicely with the koa. Obviously you can see that it's a different wood, but it's still got that sort of orange stain to it that's really nice. There's a couple of joints in the neck, really nicely done. One down here, and then the top one, really, it kind of curves around. So really cleverly done on the top. But even when you can see it, it's almost styled into the neck, which I really, really like. You've got slotted tuner headstock with the aNueNue logo, which is the little rainbow man, I believe it is. We've got open geared tuners. These are metal tuners with metal buttons. I believe, I'm just going to check that, yeah, they are branded reverse open gears. Again, I really like that. I like that they're coming backwards and not kind of sticking out. I like that. Fingerboard is ebony. Really nice. It's really dark. It's kind of got almost like a matte finish to it, but when you feel it, it's so smooth. It does show the fingerprints quite a lot. Even just doing that there, you can kind of see that fingerprints mark on it, and then they kind of fade off. So it is going to show lots of fingerprints on there. For the position markers, you've got these little downward arrows, and you've only got them at the 5th, the 7th, and then again at the 14th, I believe that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th. So between 14th and 15th. Now, the thing that throws me a little bit is the logo, because I would expect that the 12th fret is in the middle there. The 12th fret is actually the next one down, so it's at the bottom of the logo. I just find that a little bit off-putting, and I'd heard some other people say that, and I'd heard other reviewers say that, and thought, well, you just get used to it and you just know where it is, or you just use the side markers. But that logo's so big and bold right in the middle of the fingerboard that I think, it does throw me, definitely throws me. And to, a number of times we do our little branded. Now I'm going past that there, but it's how far I'm having to go past it. And naturally I'm thinking that that's the 12th, so I'm trying to go there, and I'm hitting the wrong chord when I play it. So I think that's something that I would say that you get used to, but it's just a little bit odd. I just wish they'd put that somewhere else on there. Everything else on this, the finishing of it is, it's unquestionably immaculate. There is not anything on this at all that you could criticise, I don't think. Inside the ukulele, it looks almost as good as the outside of the ukulele. And then the neck is a slightly more satin finish. It's still definitely got kind of a shiny coat to it. When sometimes you get like a satin finish or a matte finish where it feels completely worn down and it's pretty much wood that you're feeling on the neck. There's definitely this coating on this that is a little bit glossy and a little bit shiny, but not quite as much as the body, I don't think. The aNueNue line comes with their own branded black water strings. I quite like these. I'm going to change these strings shortly, because I find these strings, I find any like the Worth Brown strings or anything like that, I find them a little bit hard and not as, these are fluorocarbon, but I find the clear fluorocarbon strings, they seem to have a little bit more give to me. So they're a little bit bendier and a little less rigid. These feel a little bit more wire-like to me, and I think some players really like that. They create quite a bright sound. But I'm going to change these just to see what the difference is, and put some of the strings that are my favourite strings on there, and then see how the instrument plays. Tone-wise, because you've got this solid koa. So koa normally gives quite a mellow, relaxed sound, very much the Hawaiian sound. It's got that sort of chilled, laid back, slightly thick in places sound to it, and that's what you go for koa for. The cedar on the top then gives it a really bright sound, and the combination of the two means you get this frequency range from the instrument that is kind of, you get a thick bottom end to it. I wouldn't say the middle's thin, but then the top end is bright. So the combination of the two is quite different to having just a solid koa instrument that I've heard. Like I said, this is the first one that I've played that is koa, but certainly I've listened to lots of other players playing them. And you seem to get this mix of the mellow sort of mid to bottom end, and then this really bright top coming from the cedar. And that's quite nice. It's certainly... It rings for absolutely ages. It's hard to pick that up on microphones, but that top note really did ring for that long. It rings for longer than any ukulele that we've got here, certainly. but it's quite that. It's quite a picked just like that, one string at a time. It's almost got quite an aggressive first sort of part of the note to it. That initial. Obviously, it depends how you play it. So you can play it in a more mellow manner, but just the attack on it is quite aggressive. But then afterwards, you get this. It's like the mellowness of a better word. Mellowness a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, mellowness apparently. Mellowness. But you get the mellow kind of aftertones coming through. Like I say, it depends how you play it. Finger picking. So yeah, finger picking, you can definitely pull the melody away from the chords that you're playing, I think, which is really nice. It's definitely driven by the cedar top. It's a brighter sound, I think, just purely because of that. But like I said, there's this mellow underneath. A change to slightly mellower strings, I think, would also kind of soften that a little bit, and that's maybe what I'm going to be looking for from it. It's one of those instruments, it's a high-end instrument, so it isn't one that I would necessarily say, oh, it does finger picking really well, but it doesn't do strumming. I mean, it does everything well, but it does it in a style that's its own, which is this slightly brighter top with a mellower kind of bottom end to it. It's an interesting instrument to play. I think it's one that's going to take a bit of time to sort of bed in and change, and like I say, maybe with different strings you're going to get a slightly different sound to it, so that's going to be quite interesting to see. We'll maybe post a short or a follow-up video where we've changed the strings and just see what happens with that. So yeah, so this is the aNueNue Lion. It's a really nice, really beautifully made instrument. I must mention also, bizarrely enough, a stupidly favourite thing of mine is the orange case that comes with it. Like, how cool is that? It's really nice inside. If I can actually open it up on my lap and whiz it round. So, yeah, really nice padded orange case, which you'd expect for an instrument of this kind of price. You want something really nice to carry it in, but you're not going to find yourself needing to go out and buy anything different to that, unless the orange is just too much for you, in which case, what's wrong with you? Don't buy the instrument.
Does it come in different colours?
No, it only comes in the orange, because that is the lion, as in the band. That is their trademark look and branding, so it only comes in the orange. They're actually from a family of other ukuleles. So I think there's the Moonbird, the Songbird. Is that one? Have I made that up? Which is a similar shape. They kind of have a very distinctive shaping around the top, which I'm actually not that keen on. It's the ukulele curves back in on itself a little bit. This is slightly more traditional, but with an untraditional cutaway, because it doesn't kind of slope down like that. It just cuts lower down the instrument, which certainly makes it easier to kind of get right up the top if you ever want to. But yeah, so really nice sounding instrument. You've got to like the orange. If you don't like the orange, it's probably not going to be something that you can live with just for the sound. I love the orange. I really, really like the sound of it. I'm really interested to see how it changes with different strings, but also how it the sound changes over a little bit of time with this one. So we're going to keep this one for a little while, and I'm sure I'm going to play it lots. So the Orange Lion from aNueNue, really nice ukulele. aNueNue knocking it out the park with their ukuleles at the minute. This isn't a brand new one. This has been around a couple of years, but this was certainly one that I had my eye on, and I think it is definitely worthy if you're looking in that kind of price bracket, which is high end. Yes, there's lots of other things, but this one I think will stand up against them. And you know, let us know if you've got one of these, or if you've played one of these. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And we will see you next time.